Be on this white ass background. Go ahead and turn your brightness down if you need. You know what I'm saying? One sec. I gotta flip something around because it's on backwards. Yeah. Welcome to the front row. Alright. Let's get into chopping this down and breaking this up. So, we got a couple characters to get through. My memory's hazy on some of them. So, hopefully, either people can help me out or I will look up the cast on the wiki if I really need. But I've already got a good idea on what I want for these. How do I sound over the audio? Because I'm going to have the music keep playing, but I just want to know. It's only instrumentals. There's never going to be someone rapping, so it's all instrumentals tonight. I just wanted to know. Also, thanks for tuning in. I mean, I can see me talking, so I assume you can hear me. I just basically had some audio things reset, so I wasn't 100. But yeah, I assume you can hear me, man. So with that being said, we got our apple juice right here, or cranberry juice. We're about to get it popping. Alright, so we're rating the characters on a few things. Dude, everything I have is bright white. Feel free to turn down the brightness. I'm sorry. Turn down the brightness. I can't do it. But, so there's things I'm rating them on. Overall, right? So overall, we're rating them on plot value, rating them on characterization, we're rating them on how do I do this? Presence. We'll go with presence. And D&D loyalty. The D&D loyalty is a special category that I've made just for myself. It's not one that holds really a lot of value, but these are the main things they're going to be thinking about as I rate these characters. So shit, let's just get right into it, right? Now I don't think we should rate them as they're presented here. I think we should rate them as they show up in the. I think we should rate them as they show up in the story to the best of our ability. So, that being said, first character, Mike. I'm gonna have to put Mike, and you know what? I don't even know if we can call this, these tiers, so we'll call this, Goatus, or we'll go like this. Goatus. Right? Day one. We'll go. Day one. A1. Right? And then we'll go Brody. Okay. And then we'll go could improve. And then we'll go eat a dick. Alright, and then we'll do one more. How do I add one more? Add row below. Okay. This one will be fraudulent. All right, and that should be all we need. That should be all we need right there. Fraudulent. All right. So Mike is he's Brody tier, right? Like, the reason Mike is Brody tier is overall, like, you know, he's a good guy. He's wired to the cause. Like, he's important. He's a character that starts off in season 1 with a lot of value. And, you know, it's because he's in our reference to E.T., right? Like, let's look at E.T. It starts out very much reminiscent of E.T., this show. And he is Elliot, right? He's the one that discovers Eleven, takes her in, and helps explain her and introduce her to the boys. So, you know, he's good there. But then what happens in season 1 is he rides that important wave and helps bring, you know, value to Eleven, all the rest of the team. He's the leader, so that's important. And then season 2 takes a huge backseat. We see less of him. We see, because, you know, we're dealing with the whole 11 thing. We're seeing him kind of mope around. All right, and then in comes season 3. Okay, season 3, he's just a fuckboy, right? I mean, he's young, dumb, and full of cum, right? He just wants to hang out with Eleven and spend as much time with her, but just like any youthful kids, you know, he's not really doing much for her. He's just simply being a friend. And what he doesn't realize is that Eleven's a very unique type of girl, becoming a woman. Her needs are very unique. And Mike, he's just not serving by any measure. And everyone can see this, and that's kind of sad. Because he's not only being a messed up boyfriend to her, he somehow is managing to be a messed up friend to his friends. And, you know, there's a good lesson in that, I guess, because I've seen a lot of people throw away all sorts of relationships over a relationship, and what happens is it just somehow you wind up shitting on both sides of the fence. And if I could say anything about Mike is that he's shitting on both sides of the fence, and that's why the distaste for him grows so large. Now, why do we still keep him in B? Again, he started out good, he has his purpose, but the self-realization he comes to at the end of season 4, when he admits that he's trash, knowing is half the battle, and I think awareness is better. The people who are oblivious are the people that scare me. I'm never afraid of someone that realizes their shit. It's the person who doesn't realize how bad they're fucking up. Those are the people you need to concern yourself with. Alright. Dustin. Dustin is A1. He gets pretty annoying at times, but he manages to come full circle because, like, he's that guy that's like, there's no shame in his game. And, you know, people will, if you ever get to meet me one-on-one or ever try to have a real conversation with me, you'll kind of see that it makes sense that I'd be proud of Dustin. Because he doesn't change up, you know? That's why A1 since day one. The man doesn't change, the boy, becoming a young man, doesn't change up, and that's really cool. Not only does he never change up, he doesn't stay stagnant in what it is he's doing. He improves it. Like, he improves his nerdiness, right? Like, he flips his nerdiness into getting the things he wants out of life, right? He doesn't feel that he has to become cool to get a girl or to become well-liked. He realizes he could just become a better nerd with better technology, more harebrained stuff, and that's just that's all he needs, and he's happy with that. So, you know, he manages to befriend who was Mr. Popular, quote-unquote, at his school just through his sheer unwavering personality. So, that's very powerful. Oh, I forgot. The presence and characterization. So, obviously, these guys both have plot value. They both have characterization as they evolve over time. Dustin steals the screen anytime he's on it. So, definitely going to be over Mike on that one. Mike, you know, very, very low stage presence. You know, it's whatever. Mike being the leader in D&D, like, you know, I mean, that's the role he's supposed to be. That's the role that people assume he's supposed to be, but I don't know if he holds up to that, you know. Dustin is clearly like this like technological dwarf, right? He's got all the gadgets and the gizmos, and he stays pretty true to that. And that's pretty cool. Next up, Will the Wise. Will, we're gonna have to put Will in C tier. I know people feel like he should be above Mike. People feel like he should be above Mike because, well, there's lots of reasons. The liking of the character, you know, his semi-confession he gives in the back of that van, you know, how tortured this young boy is, but that's not what we're here to judge. This isn't the Struggle Olympics. This is actually if the character is good or not. So, I think this character had several moments where it seemed like he was better off dead. They kept him alive, and that's kind of cool, but the thing they don't highlight is, I don't know, him being touched by the shadow and now being able to kind of sense it. I mean, that's cool and all. It's like, okay, we see that you've been touched and now you can sense it, but with how this stuff has been working so far, that still makes Will kind of come off as a threat. But they don't ever fully personify if he is still potentially somehow some type of threat, or if he is just fine now. I mean, we deal with season 1 and 2 with all of that, and, you know, the danger he was still in there, but then it really subsides really quickly, and we're just supposed to believe in season 3 and 4 that we're fine. And that's fine. I mean, there's just a lack of closure to me with how they handled that. Will the Wise is, of course, a spellcaster. So I think, again, they did a good job with making him omniscient of the enemy's presence. Really cool. But it just, his stage presence, he's always playing second fiddle to someone. The first couple seasons, the man is just, the boy is just fucking a potato sack that just screams and writhes, you know? So I will give it to the Duffer Brothers because they're doing a great job. But in season 5, I think this character stands the most to improve and really start to shine. Which, let's go ahead and just cut in real quick. Let's just cut in. Came more into play later. Yeah, like, he could improve the most. But speaking of that, let's go ahead and get to Robin real quick. So, Robin can eat a dick. And the reason that Robin can eat a dick isn't for the reasons you think. The reasons that I think Robin should eat a dick is she is kind of... We love Robin. Oh my god, Robin enjoys. Hey, look. Well, I hope you make a case for her. Because, I mean, look, she's doing stuff. She's not fraudulent, but here's what I don't like about Robin. When I look at Robin, the way they wrote that character and her progression, Robin has the story that we wish Will had. Not in the sense of having some interest that he or she turned down, but in the sense of having close friends that he could be open with, that he could have these things he's pursuing, these new adventures he's trying to go on, having abandoned D&D, and just the kind of childish mindset he had. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe she doesn't deserve a D. She might not deserve a D, but, like, I feel like this character, I feel like she doesn't serve much purpose other than helping us. I mean, I guess maybe she helps Steve Harrington kind of see something about himself, but even then, I don't know, man. She's just there to serve Steve up some more L's. She's there to also just be another helping hand. Like, man, like, I don't know. I will admit her revealing her sexual preference, that was cool. I will say that was dope. Like, it made a lot of things like click, right? Like, so many more things made sense, and it makes you like look at certain things. It was very subtle. So I like that. I don't know, man. The Russian knowledge, yeah, that's what it was, right? She was a translator. She was a translator. Okay, I guess she could improve. I mean, she was a translator, so that's helpful, but it's like, I try to think of like what purposes you serve. So, as far as a D&D character, we have a scribe here, right? So, okay, we have a scribe. I would like to see more scribing out of her in the future. We do have... but we didn't even get to use her in season 4, like when they're trapped in Russia. Like, we have, like, it's weird, but we'll keep her in 3. There just could have been more we did with her being able to understand the language and dealing with the Russians, okay? So, like, there's just stuff we could have done there. Anyways, next up, last but not least, definitely last but not least, Lucas. Now, I would want to put Lucas in S, but I can't do that. I would really want to do that, but I can't. And I can't even put him above Dustin. So Lucas is just gonna... yeah. Lucas is just A1 day 1, right? The reason Lucas is A1 day 1 is, is very clear. He's been a lot of things. He's been the comedic relief character. If you look at this cast of characters, and remember we're dealing with the 80s, he at first might come off as like the token character, but then you see through the script and the writing, they don't pigeonhole him like that. Like, they don't make him make the stupid black jokes, right? They don't give him stereotypical situations. They don't do any of that. They just let him be, and that's really cool, If you want to try to pull some type of bullshit and be like, why are you playing basketball? Whatever. It's a small town in Hawkins. People play sport ball in these type of small towns. It's what they do. So I think it's fine. Also, the boy is more built for basketball than he is for football. So whatever. As far as his class, he definitely comes off as the type of character that's more of a knight, right? Um, you know, agile, fast, noble for sure. And the reason I say that is because, you know, he's there trying to help. The way he tries to help out with the little bit of knowledge he has and success he has, trying to help Mike see the error of his ways, trying to go about it is like, that's cool that he wants to be the friend that tackles that. And even though he doesn't even have it all figured out himself, but that's another thing that makes him day one, is that he's aware that he's not perfect, but he's trying, you know? He's trying and he wants to make it right. Also, always handy when he comes in with the plans and ideas. Isn't like sitting there like a dullard. Always has, you know, great input on the ideas and stuff when they're coming up with stuff. Always cool to see what Lucas can come up with. It's almost like borderline loose cannon. It's almost like loose cannon in the sense of, you know what Mike is gonna be on, right? Mike is gonna be on this, I'm the leader, we have to do this, right? Dustin's gonna be on this, you know, the science behind how we're gonna do it. Will is gonna be on this examine the danger type of shit. And Lucas, you don't know, but he's gonna come up with resources. He's very resourceful. He even made himself Venkman too. Be a knight for Max. Yeah, definitely very knight-like. So as far as D&D characterization goes, dope. Really dope. Next up, don't make me put her in D. Nancy. Does this character belong in D? Or what do we think about Nancy? See, the thing about Nancy is she is a princess who is yet to be a queen, right? So it's like, we have this character. She's the it girl, right? Mrs. Popular. People want to be with her. That's cool. And, you know, she does this thing in season 1 where it's like, she realizes how people see her and realizes the type of people that are after her. But then she realizes that she wants a real type of relationship. She wants something real out of life. So she stops going after type of superficial relationships. And that's cool. That's really great to see that. You know, that's something that youth have to struggle to eventually do. We all do it, right? It's like eventually you understand the value in things, the real value. So it's cool that we see her do that. But what do we see her do after that? That's the issue with that character, is it's like, I really wish that she, I don't know, like, you know, she starts dating Jonathan, you know, and she's like obviously more academically advanced than him, and her life is more laid out for her. She's got what seems to be a little bit of a support system just based on her family's you know, wealth. So she's got her goals, and Jonathan, she can't really do anything to uplift him. She's kind of just like, hey, we'll both get there. We're both gonna make our way. And, you know, it's not the saying that that's her job to, but, you know, I wonder what this character does. The one thing that is cool about her, as far as the roles and the, what is it? The plot value, she has good plot value because she serves as this type of detective. Like, if everyone else is, you know, adventuring and, like, you know, explorers or whatever, this character is definitely the detective. She's, like, really on some gumshoe shit, right? But they don't write into that. So, you know what, we'll leave her in C, because she's the most detective-like out of the whole cast, but no one ever really, they don't really pour into that. In fact, they shun her for it. Most people try to hit her with the, you're crazy, you're so harebrained. And that gets annoying because obviously stranger things have happened. So I don't know why we keep doing that to her. It's like, let the detective cook, man. Like, she needs to really double down on her Sherlock Holmes. And I would need the writers or the people to embrace that. If that happens for that character, she becomes a lot more valuable. But aside of that, every time they start writing about her relationships and love stories, it's this weird thing where there's this odd type of value placed on it, where who cares what she picks anymore? She's not in high school. There are no more popularity contests. These boys, both of these young men, that we're gonna talk about next here, need to figure out what they want to do in their life, and whether Nancy chooses to be with them or not shouldn't really change that. So we just need to figure out what it is are gonna do with Nancy, and then we need to go at it pretty hard, right? All right, next up, Joyce. This is S tier. Joyce is S tier. Why? Because she's the character that Nancy is supposed to be. The detective. The crazy one. But somehow she examines things in such a weird way, and she's so spiritually in tune that she manages to get it across. Like, the chills we all got when we saw the Christmas light scene, and then that becoming relevant in the 4th season, amazing. So, like, yeah, just absolutely amazing. Seeing that come full circle. And then as far as her being a parent to these boys, dealing with being the mother of Will, if you think about what Mrs. Byers has been through, she has gone through a lot. Losing a husband, losing a new boyfriend, almost losing her son, and having to torture her son just to save him, and have to believe that it would work. That was crazy. Like, if you tried to ask a parent to do that, that's hard stuff, but she made the hard choices because she knew that what was in front of her wasn't her son. So she wanted her son back. And she's someone that, even with dealing with Hopper, what this character will prove to you is that when she cares about something, she'll really go fight for it. Actually, on a level of like some Snake shit. Snake said, this is a spoiler, if you love something, you have to be able to protect it. Now, that's a very nebulous statement, but she loved her son Will, and in order to protect him, she was willing to do the craziest things to achieve that. Just like Hop. Loves Hop, willing to do crazy things to achieve that. Hop tries to blame himself for her coming, but like, it doesn't take a genius to know that what you're reading when you look at these notes is that you're smuggling a man over from Soviet Russia. What type of character is Joyce in D&D? Well, she's the widowed queen, right? She's the queen without an heir. This is also further personified by the fact that Will is gay, but that's another topic. We'll get there. So, cool characterization there. Next up, Hop. The throatest, goatest. There's no doubt that Hopper has carried sections of this story so many times. He's just carried so many parts of this story. It's ridiculous. You know why Hopper lost all that weight? Because he's tired, boss. Man has been lifting so much weight. So much. Also, losing weight for the role during the COVID break. What, genius way to take advantage of that with the writing and all that. Now, I will admit, him dying was kind of funky, right? That was kind of funky. Because it's like, they end on that amazing cliffhanger where it's like, yo, that last note he left was a serious tearjerker. I was bawling my eyes out. That shit was heavy. And then they kind of devalue that with putting him into this situation of just suffering. But you oh, sorry, my phone going off. Okay. But you suffer through the Hopper torture porn, and we get past that, and then we're like, okay, I mean, I guess I can see how he fell, but there is still the one writing gap of, if the soldiers raided the place, how did the Russians get him and get out of there? Like, that's just not clear. That's like a bit of a bummer. That's one of those things where, hey, yo, hopefully people just don't ask. Hopefully they just don't ask. You could argue that maybe they were cleaning up the body of the Mind Flayer, so like, or whatever, clean up Mind Flayer mess, so like they had some time. You could argue that, but whatever. We know why Hop is the GOAT. I could try to go into it, like, in fact, we'll go into it a little bit. The way they keep peeling back more of that character, you learn that he's a soldier. You learn that he served. You learned what he did as he served, the crimes he committed. You learn that the crimes and war crimes he committed were actually the very same karma and infection that wound up affecting his kid. You learn that leads into his depression, because before we just knew, okay, this is the fucking country bumpkin sheriff drinking beer, depressed. Everyone always says, what are you drinking? Not why are you drinking, right? And I personally, obviously, I really like that about Hop. I resonate with that heavy. But then, like, it's, we see him care about these kids so much. And then, like, we see this whole, oh, he lost a kid. And it very much plays on this thing we've seen with, if you've ever seen Ethan in Heavy Rain, or, the, Joel in The Last of Us, this I'm not losing another kid type of mentality. And that's really cool. And then as a dad, now he's concerned for the safety and well-being of Eleven, and you see him go through these dad struggles, and he's getting to finally play this role of a dad that he's always wanted to. And he's getting mad at Mike, but I think that's part of the fun, right? Like, he's always wanted to have this opportunity to kind of do that. And love has a weird way of showing itself, but shouts out to Hop. Top tier. And then, man, like I said, when he's in that prison, man just becomes the hardest motherfucker. He's just been put through too much. You can't say anything to him. Alright. Next up. Jonathan. This character flopped, dude. This character flopped hard. Like, it was cool. At first it was like, okay, the nerds win. Yeah, character flopped hard, dude. Like, it was cool at first because it was like, okay, a dub for the nerds. The nerd can get the popular girl. Like, we're happy with it. But it was literally like, like, what good is he for her? Or what can he do? Okay, maybe he helped get her a job, but, like, I don't know how the whole job situation went, who got who the job, but, he's a hard-working dude. Just this love of photography. That was cool, but, he never did anything. And then literally, like, he is the character, he is the failure to launch character, right? Because he didn't go to college, he let the car break down and rot in the lot, and, he just started smoking a lot. Yeah, and they have zero chemistry. Like, what is it that, they have so little chemistry, you kind of look back at it and you're like, man, I wonder why we picked him again. What was the reason? I don't know. So, like, it's very low chemistry, and you're trying to figure out what is it that has got Jonathan so down. Maybe it's just the drugs. I used to be an avid weed smoker. I'm not gonna say that weed ruins your life, but it can have you in quite of a, I wouldn't say a trance, but a lack of wanting to achieve anything, right? You can be very content with where you're at. You can find you're getting your fix of endorphins, but clearly this guy is suffering, and you see him start to kind of get out of that haze towards the end. That chaos in his life. This is a man that needs the chaos in his life, because with idle hands, this guy will start smoking the devil's cabbage and just won't do anything. So, I don't know. I think it's whack. I think he doesn't do anything. As far as characterization goes for him, as far as plot device goes, he's so useless to the plot. Like, if anything, he's a speed bump in the plot. So, minus points there. Doesn't have screen presence. Argyle literally steals all of that from him in season 4. D&D loyalty, I don't even think I have a real character from him. I'm trying to think of something that I wanted to say artist, because he's got the camera and he helps capture stuff, but I can't even think of a class or personification to give this character. He's not even a jester. He's so out of it. It's crazy. Yeah. So out of it. Then, I forgot. The personification for Hopper. He is the king that has been dethroned from his kingdom, right? So we have the Lost King, who now, he's basically like an Aragon, if you will, right? We have this king, this person from a high point, high standing, who has to just try to fight to earn his way back there, but it's a hard fight because you don't have any of the stuff you had before. You just have all the skills that came with getting to that point. Alright. Next up. We'll go 11. This character is obviously going to be S or A1. I'm more likely to put her in S. Because, obviously, the entire driving plot, great screen presence, great writing with the character, her whole sheltered lifestyle, getting to experience stuff. So it's always interesting, there's always fun that we can write with her. Her getting relationships, her having Max help her see through the bullshit of those relationships, and learning how to understand and become more in tune with herself. And that's like a phase 2 of what happened in season 2 with number 8, again trying to help her see that person she is internally. That was really cool. What's really sad about this list? Number 8 isn't on this list, and I think that's crazy, but a testament to what we have to say about season 2. Anyways, the 1 second. What? You know what? This could be a blacksmith. Just the working man. Just the working man, That's all he knows. Simple life. Doesn't ask much, just has the tools to try to help people on their way. So, yeah, we could talk about 11 forever. But if there's key points and high points I wanted to hit on that are good with 11, they have the cute factor with, the small little things she finds joy of in life, like Eggos. They have the awesome factor, which is this dark side where she rages out and is just turning people into fucking soda cans. They have this moment of her being in power and then dealing with being out of power. And that's in both parts of her life, right? Not just the psychic shit, living with Hopper, living without Hopper, living with Mike, living without Mike. So like, she's got to learn all these things, and just seeing this character struggle with that and make the choices she makes and the things that she finds value in. It's literally like there's this stray cat, but the stray cat is like, you know what? Let's call it a stray tiger. this stray tiger who's been like abused by humanity, and you try to bring it back in, and you kind of watch as she begins to trust and build bonds with humans again, and that makes you really happy, because all you ever want as you keep watching this character is for her to just live a normal life. But it's just like Superman, the call of duty keeps coming on her, so she keeps coming and having to come back and do what she can to save the day, or be a part of the team that saves the day. So yeah, 11 solid. 11 is solid. GOATus. Next up. Now, I know that I would love to put Steve in S, but I can't do that. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to put him in A. He might go down a few more tiers than A, but obviously this character, their class. Definitely like some type of high wizard, sorceress, top level spellcaster, right? We could even go as far to say like necromancy. Now, necromancy, there's white and black necromancy, so we can just go as far to say necromancy even, or witch. It's just very high intensity. Anyways, Steve Harrington. So Steve Harrington, he starts out as the guy we hate. We want to see him get bodied, and we get that, and then we get it again, and then we get it again. We see this person who has lived so obnoxiously and so ego flamboyantly take some L's, and again, the reason I keep him in A is because despite his L's, he doesn't stop. This is the same reason we like Vegeta. This is the same reason we like a lot of anti-heroes, because in his mind, he's still the shit. But he's able to recognize when he's beaten. And, another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is when Nancy went with Jonathan, the way he took that. That's big. That's a big move. Like, yeah, at first he was mad, but as time went on, like, he didn't stay on it. The respect was there. And, how we're going to see what they do with him and her in season 5, I'm curious, because I know what I would do if I was Steve Harrington. I would go, Steve has to talk to Jonathan. Steve has to just talk to him man to man. That would be the best. There could be other ways it goes, but that would be the dopest thing. Steve, obviously, always a babysitter, so, has a great relationship with the kids, knows how to interact with all of them, and is always willing to defend them. Not because he thinks he can defeat whatever's coming after them, but just, he's not going to sit there and let the kids get chewed down on first. You know what I mean? And that's big. That's a huge deal. That is a huge deal for the fact that he's not going to sit there and let that happen, So, that's pretty sick. Steve falls in the category of a prince. He's definitely someone that's destined to be a king, right? He's got the ego, he's got the attitude, he's got the charm, but he just doesn't have what it takes to get that crown. Not yet, but soon. Soon he'll get it. And the reason he'll get it is because, again, he supports the people. If you really look at what he does, is he actually, when he takes these L's, a lot of these L's he takes, you might even say some are sacrificial. For instance, when, Robin came out to him. I've seen it, I've heard it. You hear horror stories all the time where dudes would freak out. No, he didn't freak out. He was just like, okay, cool. Well, that's great that you get to be you. Thanks for letting him know, right? You know, letting Nancy be with Jonathan, that's cool. This is the plan. I gotta babysit the kids. That's cool. Yeah, so it's like, you guys need me to fucking go through the fucking portal and almost get my shit ripped to shreds by bats? Well, y'all won't do it. But that's cool. Because what does Steve even have to live for, right? There's nobody waiting on him. There's nobody really in his corner. And that's what's another weird thing. I wish we could see more of his family. That would be interesting to see. That would be. That'd be very unique. Max. Max is A1. Max is A1 for sure. That's not even a question. The reason Max is A1 is because she's very realistic. She has to deal with fucking Billy. She's got to deal with the divorced family. And, she helps Eleven discover more of herself. That's pretty cool. And you can imagine that she can pass that on to her because she's had to deal with that with Billy, right? She's had to deal with getting bullied by Billy and standing on her own 2 feet and doing that type of stuff, right? So that's pretty cool, It's that's something that is valuable there. Her writing out all of those last will letters as a child, that's crazy. To write out all those letters, but to know what you wanted to say to those people and to get it all written down and just to be so consigned to fate. She's so consigned to her fate and really not even shedding a tear. And maybe that's because just all the hard shit she's been through with Billy, but this character has been through so much pain, and we can tell that because the lack of tears she sheds. And I think that's a great way they personify her. Let's see. I thought they gave her a name. When she showed up, they gave her a D&D name. I swear they did. I forgot what it was. But either way, Max is definitely warrior tier, if anything. Definitely a warrior. That's a scrapper right there. Zoomer. Her tag was Zoomer. Self-proclaimed. Oh, that's right. The Zoomer. Oh, she was also good at the arcade games, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's a cool character. Like, she's a character that's had to compete, and her interests lie in, like, a man's world and stuff. But, like, she competes with these boys. That's so cool. That's really dope. Now, I think where I messed up is this chart may be a season 4 only. Yeah, okay. That's why we're missing people now that I'm looking at it more. Yeah, she games and skates. She had all the top scores on the games. Yep. So definitely A1. Cause like, yeah, I fucked with that hard. Her having the top scores. That was sick. That was really sick. So this is D. This is fraudulent tier. We're not even gonna talk about this. There's not much to say. Character's not even a character. Character could have been replaced with a mannequin. That's fraudulent. Again. Also Mad Max. Yeah. Known by many names. So many titles. Yeah, so that's why I'm just gonna give her a warrior. Who is this guy? Is this one of the bullies? Is this one of her gang? Who the fuck is this guy? So many times maybe S-worthy. You know what? She be winning, I guess. She survived the attack from Vecna. You know what? Okay, that's GOAT. That's GOAT. She put her life on the line and it came through. That's GOAT, actually. We can't even play. She admitted that a part of her did want to die again. That's actually some GOAT shit. Now that I think about it. Oh man, that's crazy. So here's what we're gonna do. Because this is so fucked up, right? Because this is so fucked up. Because I'm already in this shit and I'm not gonna redo it. I'm not gonna go to another list that has them all. I'm just gonna do this. This is number 1, right? And this is Vecna, right? I think it's interesting they did that. I understand what they're trying to do. But for the sake of this video and this tier list, this is going to be Billy. Alright? This is gonna be Billy. Let's see. We're gonna put this prison guard here in Brody. There's nothing that needs to be said about him. He didn't do much. He didn't do anything bad. He's just a Brody. Like, the thing that they needed him to do, he did. He fought, he survived. He held up his end of the bargain. Cool Russian character. And then the last thing he did was he gave a dope ass speech. I was really wondering how he was gonna get Yuri to fly that plane. I was really curious. But like, that was dope. It was a very simple, straight to the point speech. Soldier tier. That was good. Just on the last puff of the cigarette too. So yeah, we'll just keep him in Brody. He didn't do too wrong. This character is fraudulent. This isn't a character. This is just the body we offered up. This character is fraudulent. This guy can eat a dick. Why? Because they actually did give him a little bit more of a character. But the character they gave him was weird, pervy dude. Weird, pervy cop. That was ugly. That was just hella weird. I don't know what the angle was. They didn't do anything for us. Now, it's not just about liking people or whatever. Because this guy here, he's going to get B tier. It's not about us liking them and us giving them the spot they need. It's about them and their plot, right? It's about their plot value, characterizations, and their presence. This dude, he has some presence, you know. You know, when he was yelling at Sinclair, you really felt this man. And like, you know, you could feel his anger and like, you know, you could see the rage in his eyes and like how on the fringe he was. They did really good with that, and just the way he rose the hysteria and just how, you know, after witnessing certain things, just the cognitive dissonance this guy displayed. It was like, it was so realistic, it was gross. Because you're like, dude, I hate people like this, but this is how people are. He's such a perfect example of the things we hate, and he rocks it so well. And then, like, you know, even the buying of the guns, man. This guy is one of those dudes you love to hate in a good way. So, respect to that. We'll get back to some main cast. I'm just filling out a few of these other stragglers. Could improve. So, if I'm not mistaken, this cop, this was the cop that was second to Hopper, right? Like when Hop went into the mayor's office and came back out, this was the guy he was talking to, right? Like this was the guy that was right hand to Hopper, if I'm not mistaken, in season 3. And because of that, obviously D&D role, he's just a guard, but he's a C. He could improve. Like, taking over for Hop, doing what he did, trying to solve the investigation, kudos to him. But the thing was, we didn't get to characterize him other than just, I'm taking over. We never really saw him try to think about the pressures, and we never saw him try to put this narrative forward that he wanted to be different than Hopper. He just kind of took on the role, and that was it. We didn't learn anything about him. So, you can learn a lot about him. But you don't need to eat a dick, because he did his job as a cop. He was against the people rebelling. That's cool. It's cool that he kept that level-headedness, but we never really saw it come out to amount to anything. So whatever. They dropped the bomb on this. They dropped the ball hard on this character. This character is eat a dick quality, but this character could have very easily been Brody or A1. And the reason is that if they gave us some type of information as to a tie-in with Vecna or a tie-in with Brenner, something. Like, obviously, Vecna was targeting these people that had trauma, but, like, why wasn't he just wired up in her office then? Like, or why wouldn't he keep someplace close by that had access to her office? Or what was the relation of the pills and anything? Like, there wasn't any other tie-in other than just, oh yeah, she's a local therapist. Like, there could have been so much there, but nope, she was just a rather dismissive therapist, and someone that is talking to the therapist, yeah, she was rather dismissive. I don't know, but there's different therapy techniques, but I didn't like hers. So fraudulent. Oh no, eat a dick. Eat a D-I-C-K. Not good. Okay. This character could have improved. Like, when she got her shit split, right? When she got fucked up, it's like, okay, cool. What happens was, again, her role got taken over by this guy. She should have became this guy. You know what I mean? Like, after dealing with that, you would expect her to get this, like, weird, I'm gonna get revenge, and I'm gonna stalk them, and in stalking them, I'm gonna learn secrets about them, and I'm gonna learn these crazy things, and that they're in a cult, and, like, then the whole making fun of the hand thing, and, like, that would have been really cool, but no, the character was just a bully, got fucked up, disappeared. So she wasn't even standing on that. She did a good job as a bully, it made sense, She was really rocking the It Girl with the Barbie head and the chicken head hairstyle, so it was working, but, could improve. It's just, again, it's sad to say, though, that she evoked more emotions out of me than watching Jonathan on the screen. This isn't even something we can give. This isn't even a character we can give a D&D title. This is just a suburban nightmare, dude. Who even is this? Alright. Murray, S tier. Oh, that's Pretzel Boy. That nigga fraudulent. Okay, Murray is S tier above Max. So, Murray is S tier because he's been in for all the seasons. He stays committed to his cause. He never changes up on characterization. He's valuable to the plot. He talks about what he's working on and what he's trying to do, and each time we come back and see him, progress has been made towards that regard. He stays very conspiracy driven, right? He's that person who, he's that first reporter, right? He starts out trying to get a report. He's really cool character. And he turns out to not be just a goofball, but, he turns out that he devoted some time to the martial arts, and that shit worked out for him. And that may have even just been for comedic relief, even, but it lands so well. Like, I'll take it. Like, yeah, this is very harebrained stuff, but like, what else is he gonna do? Their back is to the wall. So yeah, shouts out to Murray for that. So with some of these fraudulent spots, we're probably gonna convert these fraudulent characters into characters that we wanted to see up here, because there's characters that should be up here that are just not up here. Argyle, this is A1 day one. This is A1 day one, baby. Argyle comes in as the positive, happy stoner. He sticks to what he knows. He's very easy to work with. He's not really trying to. He's so classically a stoner in the sense of he's not trying to prevent or deny anything that people say to him. Like when they mention the Stranger Things to him, he's so unshook because that's the real stoner way. He's more so just like, okay, bro, well, how do we stop them from not fucking up my high? It's more about stuff like that. So Argyle's dope in that sense. Definitely chemist tier with the pizza and the salt bath and just the the bot, maybe even botanist, but or aromatherapist. But yeah, definitely A1 day one. Deals with Jonathan's bullshit. The stoner to stoner communication, dude. Yeah, like having someone that can speak the language, so good. Now I will admit that he does ham it up a bit because they're in California. He's just your classic 80s California stoner. I think that's kind of cheesy, but hey, it is what it is. It's the same way we think about Texans and Cowboys. I get it. Californians and long-haired stoners. Like, I get it. Whatever. All right. Mrs. Walker? Character can eat a dick. Like, we see her willing to try to cheat to try to commit adultery with Billy, but we don't get any backstory as to why. Like, I get it, there's this whole life is boring, the husband's boring, but I wish we could expand on that more. Like there's more here than just, Billy's this hot young dude at the pool and my husband's whack. Like, talk about it. Like, there's no back and forth or drama with the husband. For all we know, their marriage is still going steady. Like, so they don't do anything with her. I mean, yeah, she's fine. Look, she's definitely fine. Like, look, hey, Miss Walker is fine. But the problem is, like, we didn't explain anything. So, like, Billy, I was so glad that I pegged how Billy was from the get-go, because I was like, I'm seeing it. This is what the reality is. And I called that just because I had a feeling they were going to do like they're doing with Miss Walker, that they weren't going to explain it. But they did. And I was so much happier they explained it, because I was like, let me tell you right now, as someone that has very similar taste, I see something here with Billy. And I think I'm right, but I don't know. But I think I was right. And I was on the fucking money, and that shit was great. But again, with those tastes, Billy doesn't pick his targets at random. There's a reason that Billy picks the people he does, and I wish we could have seen that explained more.
Is that you? Oh, an empty place. Oh, I love it. A perfect place to practice the exciting art of...
Watching her in other scenes, she doesn't really do much and doesn't really talk to her. Yeah, and We don't even see her deal with the kids in like an interesting way. We don't ever see that happen too much. So it's like we really don't get much at all. Who is this again? This is one of her cronies, one of these dickheads. We may just jump to some of the other tier lists. We can see the other characters, just because I don't want to try to do what I was gonna do, which is, you know, I said this is gonna be Billy. I don't want to try to do that too much because there's a couple characters that are missing that it would be just easier to just see them. So I'm not gonna like retype this all in. We're gonna save this, and then I guess just in the comments, or I'll type it up. I'll type it up on here, the remaining parts of value. This is Wheeler. Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is, dude. I don't know who this is. So, okay, fuck this guy. So, let's go here. This character's fraudulent. And actually, you know what? He could be the top of the frauds. I'll explain why he's the top of the frauds. Here are the frauds in order. So, he's the... So, this guy is top of the frauds because they gave us a little bit of backstory, right? We saw how he was messing with Nancy. I always like that they give Nancy this other character that like pokes and prods at her, and it reveals stuff about her. But like, I really wish we got to learn about that character as well. And then like, you know, we were learning about him, and he had some history and whatnot. And you know, that was interesting to see. But I thought we were gonna get more out of that. But no, the dude became a ragdoll immediately. That's fraudulent, dude. That was horrible. Like, we didn't even get any backstory. Like, they don't do anything to give us any more backstory. Like, why was he so traumatized by that crash? Like, what could we have learned from it? Like, the one thing we could say, right, is like, if we want to talk about characterization, here's one small thing. Maybe that's why he didn't want to drive. Because you also have to think of it this way. Think about it, right? Let's think about the way people behave. In the 80s, you got people driving. Why is it that Nancy's driving and he's not driving the car for her? Could be because it's her own car. Yeah, still, that doesn't matter. People had this whole chivalry thing and these whole gender roles. They were pretty strict back then. So he would have drove. But maybe he was afraid of driving because of his accident. But we never get any explanation like that. We just, whatever. It's fraudulent. He dies before we get anything. He's dead. Next. Yuri. Yuri could improve. Yuri's above the police officer. Yuri could have improved because he was cool, cuckoo character. He was literally the Russian version of Murray. We learned more about the cheerleader's family than him. Right, exactly. You know what? Here. Yeah, fuck him. She's the top of the frauds. So, anyways, Yuri. Also, yeah, classless. Frauds have no class. They do not get a D&D class. Yuri, this is definitely a mechanic or tinkerer. Definitely gadget maker, right? Or Sid, right? The aviator. Definitely the type of transportation type of character that you find in D&D type of games. Person who operates the lift. But yeah, he did good. Like his turnaround, his deception, you know, just him being this harebrained guy who, through his antics and acting harebrained, he was able to convince a lot of people that he was dumber than he looked. And that was cool, you know. That was like, okay, yeah, he rocks this role pretty well. You know, he's this weirdo that's got these machines that he manages to get flying, and he's just out to make a buck. But again, that final speech that Antonov gives that is able to convince him, that's cool, seeing that change in his character. And, you know, Antonov gives that speech so quick, but Yeah. Sid, bring out the Twisted Tea and Fantas. Bring out the Twisted Tea and Fanta. Twisted. Sid, I can't wait for it. Yeah, it's Sid tier, dude. Definitely Sid tier. Okay. You want the Brenner tier? We're gonna have to wait on the Brenner tier. Alright? We're gonna have to wait on the Brenner tier. Okay, we're gonna go with this guy tier. Oh shit. We're gonna go with Victor. Victor Creel. Victor Creel. Victor Creel is Brody. Victor Creel is Brody. Why? Because they had this hype around him, right? Like they literally made him like a Voldemort in a way, where like, okay, you heard about the guy and you heard about this craziness, and it all started with just that little talk on the park bench, and then like they do their discovery, they find out where he is, and they go find the dude, and like, you know, he tells his backstory, and we get this like crazy, like old visuals, and like we see the dude, and we even learn about his old military life, and you know how he's insane and how he doesn't talk with reporters, and like the reason he went crazy was just because no one believed him, because he was the first person to witness what he witnessed, and no one believed him. So that was cool. And then the reason he gets the Brody tier is cutting out his own eyes to try to join his family. That was cool. Like, you know, that's just like, that man was beaten. That man was sad, but no one believed him, you know? And, you know, they just thought he's loony. And, you know, it is what it is. And, yeah. With his little death pose, he... Yeah, bro be talking crazy. Yeah, Yuri talked crazy, though. Alright, let's see. Next up. Just the Facts. This character right here, I had just got done saying, we know Lucas has a family. I wanted to see I wanted to see more of this character. And like when we see them in the mall the first time, you don't know that they're related. You just see these little brats that are like messing with Lucas, and I was like, who are these local brats? And then you learn that they're related, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then it's like, it's so cool how like, you know what, this could be a low-key S, because she actually gets into D&D, and she has a whole character sheet, even though she's never campaigned with them. So that can only mean that she like plays at home, or like in some other group with Lucas or something, or like on her own, who knows. But like she has her whole character sheet, and she's smart, and she doesn't like to, she wants to cut to the quick. It's so funny. She's like, this couch is full of lies. Like she just be on it. It's so funny. Just the facts. And she doesn't care how crazy she sounds, because she's like, why would we lie about this? She's like, all I've ever done is talk the facts. Yeah, and she helped break into a government. You know what? Okay. Yeah, this might be yes. No, we can't put her above Max though. But anyways, yeah, this is some S tier work. Brony. Yeah, like this is S tier. She came in and stole the shit, right? And just being able to deal with the both age ranges. She comes in lower age range than the boys, but is able to keep up with them. That's really on some genius shit. So like, that's, yeah, you know what? That's a really cool character. This character has a bright future. If they want to keep writing her, keep developing her well, I'm excited to see where that goes. This. Eddie. Oh really? She was not just, she was just Lucas annoying the sister. I'm glad they let her look in a really good direction. Yeah, she's got the little sister intensity. Like I was telling Candace, like there's interactions that occur with her and Lucas that remind me of me and my sister, and I was like, this shit is authentic. Like, oh my god, it was so good. Like, oh, the nagging and just like the little faces and like the little side eyes. I was like, this character. It's so real. Zuchi's character is tangible. Great screen presence. Class. Warrior princess for sure. Let's see. Or you know what I would even say? You can even put that character at assassin rate. Because she's just straight to the point. You know what I mean? Straight assassin point. I forgot to give people D&D classes again. Yuri is a thief. Definitely thief class. Victor Creel, he's in the median class or the seer class. You know, the crazy man who's seen too much. You know what I mean? The heretic. Let's see if there's anyone else I missed. No, that was it. That was it. Eddie is a bard. Yep. You already know. I said when we were watching it. Eddie is definitely the bard. And, you know, Eddie, he could be S tier. The only flaw is, I mean, I don't feel right giving S tier to people that have one season because it's really hard to make a mistake in one season. Once they've written your character out longer, then they can make a mistake. But, like, when something is short and succinct, you know, it's that which burns brightest. So, like, it can be perfect because your story begins and ends in a very smooth fashion. You know, there's not a lot of wiggle room to mess it up. So we'll just put him at the top of A1 for now, you know what I mean? But Eddie is 100% a bard. Like, that character was awesome from the very first moment I seen him. Like, you know, when Dustin tells him, oh, he's in a mood today, and that's like, and then you see him go into this whole spiel about, you know, what's important in life, and you know, obviously for him it's not academics, right? And I'm not saying that that's the best way, but he's aware that his academics are lacking, and he's also aware that he's not the most athletic person. He's aware that he's kind of a nobody, and then you see his home life, and it's like, man, it's something. And man, it's so sad the more I start to think about it. And it's like, there's a reason that those people who come from those shitty backgrounds like to do all that fantasy and shit. It's because you get away from that stuff, you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, man, if I lived in a trailer, I would want to play D&D and become someone else all the time. And he's the dungeon master, right? If I was sitting in that fucking building, I would want to listen to metal music and create fucking stories and adventures that are way better than the confines of this fucking shitty ass mobile home and this random plot in Hawkins where I'm fucking not graduating and my dad got fired from the plant. So, like, there's just no hope anywhere. Like, so that's his background, and it's not really directly talked about, but you see how it plays into his character, and that's really cool. And then, you know, he talks about his distaste for the jocks. He's stay away from the home. Overcame statistic, satanic panic. Yeah, the satanic panic, man. And then, like, you know, getting into the drugs and whatnot, and you know, you just see him going down a bad road. But as he mentioned, it's like nothing wrong with doing some drugs, but you know, the dealing drugs, and as an ex myself, nothing wrong with dealing them either. But you know, it just, depending on how things go, it could not become the most. It could not become the outcome you really want. So, I think that character was sick with all of that. And then, you know, the being wise enough to know he needed to hide out because he knew people would assume he did it, and you know, he probably heard some things on the news or whatnot, and then, you know, just going into hiding, and you know, that was really cool for that character. Then we have all of the upside down scenes. We have the time when it's finally time to put the chips up, and we have the whole guitar thing and the shit he loved, and the Hellfire Club, and just, you know, the epic scene, getting to fucking play the Puppet Master on top of the fucking RV. His home, you know, his home. Just getting to fucking play that shit. That was sick. That was so sick. And then, you know, still just rocking it down with Dustin, right? knew about the secret rock, but all the secrets. Yeah, and then like knowing, uh, knowing about the secret places is definitely dope and shit. And then like sticking with Dustin, right? Because he knew that Dustin was, you know, Hellfire, right? And he's like, yeah, man, like some of these guys, whatever, but like, you know, I'll stick with Dustin. Like, oh, me and him got this part, we'll handle it. You know, it's like he didn't change up on Dustin. That was his homie. That's who he rocked with, and that's who he helped defend, and that's who he sacrificed for. And the reason he sacrificed for Dustin was because he saw a lot of himself in Dustin, but more than just himself. He saw better, the thing that he wished he could have gone back and probably become, which is someone that is this nerd and he has this huge passion and doesn't want to change for anybody, but someone that's also smart enough to make better decisions. So that's really cool. And you know, he knew he couldn't be as popular as cool because, you know, whatever, but like, you know, the whole little hero talk at the end, you know, laying it all out on the line just because this is his moment. This is the chance that he'll finally get to succeed. If he could do nothing else, this would be the greatest act he can possibly commit. And he took his chance. And the one in front of the gun lives forever. So he immortalized himself in that moment. Eddie is now immortal to the story. And that's sick. It's a shame he's gone, but yeah, that's fucking sick. Don't you worry, we're going to talk about Billy. I have a lot to talk about Billy. We're going to talk. Because, again, this list is fucked up, so just keep these in your mind. In fact, here's what I'll do. I'll do this. Because apparently I chose a list that's season 4 only, and I already started it, and I wasn't going to go back. So I don't want to have to retitle everything and all that, so we're just going to do this. And then when I'm done with it, I'll just take the list and we'll just have it side by side, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, dude. No, like I'm so in on Billy. Like that's my character, bro. That's my character. Oh, that character is godlike. But anyway, yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Okay, so now question: do we want to separate number 1 and Vecna? Is that what we're gonna do here? Is that what we're about to do? Are we separating them? So bad he's not even in the list. Oh my god, Sierra, shut the fuck up. I don't like him. X tier. Happy he died? Oh my god. Although I did miss his mullet. Oh my god. What is Sam Wise? Where? Okay, where? Yeah, I'm down with it. Yeah, different times, different characters. Yeah, unfortunately it's this. Okay, different times, different characters? That's so stupid. Okay. We'll separate them. Okay, so number 1. So that's the thing, right? Vecna is after he gets sent there, right? So number 1 is all the stuff he was doing as a kid as a bad person, leading up until when he got banished, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or is number 1 just when he was incredulous? Oh, I'm not incredulous. I am very wired to the cause here, okay? Hey, look, just the facts. When it comes to Billy, just the facts. All right? Up to becoming banished. Okay. So, up to becoming banished, this character is This character's A1. One of the first. You know, he's got this mindset, and he's got this. He's like he poses as 11th's friend. He does this huge thing where we'll talk about his childhood first. Obviously, that's the twisted shit, right? We can't talk much about that because it kind of just bleeds into Vecna, but that's the twisted shit. He's practicing on animals. He's punishing his family, whatever. Then he gets taken in by Brenner, and when he's with Brenner, he has to get let's call it the governor. That's what that's called when you put it on a car. So he gets the governor installed, right? And once the governor's installed, then like, you know, he mellows out and he's like helping the other kids. But that's what's so cool about his character. And it was cool that he had them play chess. You know, when he had them playing chess, I damn near lost my shit. Because he said the shit, he said, do you want to go play a game that's a little more challenging? And I was like, what makes it more challenging if you're just a regular person playing chess? You don't have powers. Why is this more challenging? And, you know, I was like, okay, he's playing 11 in chess, and it's like, is 11 supposed to be reading his mind, and that's what's challenging, the ability to read his mind? But it's like, it's so interesting, because like, he's talking about how Brenner's using you, right, as he's playing this game of chess. And that's the whole thing. Like, you know, we've watched Fresh, right? I start to think to myself, and this is going to tie into Brenner a little bit, so I'm going to try not to do too much, but was Brenner really the one manipulating her? You know? Or was it number one manipulating 11? And number two even. Because, you know, you see number one getting punished. Why is that? Is it because he's still trying to, he's like, hey, stop trying this, like, crazy shit. Stop, you know, like, who knows what exactly we know? We don't know. There's this weird game going on between Brenner and Henry, where, you know, if Brenner is Papa, right? Henry is Big Brother. Who do you trust? It's a very interesting dynamic. But you trust Henry because he's the one that's like you. But also, his world outlook is just a lot different. He's hated humanity for the longest. Does Brenner hate humanity? More on this in Brenner. Vecna. This is S tier. This is S tier villain. Why? Because having been built out of Henry, seeing everything we knew, and then seeing his little journey as well, and like just the kills he was doing, just how violent he does it, and you know the way he marks his kills, and the way he has his whole system. You know, there's the clock ringing 4 times, and then the 4 different gates. You know what else is interesting? Before he pops the eyes, right? He breaks all 4 limbs. You know what I mean? So I was like, having a system like that, having a code, like these like clues to what he does, shit like that's pretty cool. And then just him being discovered to be, well, you know, Dustin's like, oh, that's probably the Mind Flayer's top general, right? And we still don't know if he is or not, but it more so seems that he is the top, right? Like, he's the reason that the evil things came out. He went in and helped the evil things get out, so he's the reason. So it's like, you know, he's not the top general, he's the one that's running this shit. Now, before they revealed that, let me tell you what I was thinking before they revealed that. Before they revealed that, what was going on that was really cool to me, when the people thought that it was 11 that were turning people into the 4 broken limb soda cans, I had a theory, and this was cool because they kind of also set that up there, is that Vecna was the entity inside of 11 that had given her powers, and the reason she didn't have her powers was because they had gone from her, and they were now Vecna. So that's what I had thought. I had thought she lost her powers because the best way I can describe it is if you ever look at Unknown from Tekken Tag, you'll see this like giant wolf shadow behind the character. I felt like Vecna was that giant wolf that was behind her because he did the same thing with the hand and then, you know, lifting people up and then like, you know, just using the mind. I was like, that's 11's power. You know, I didn't think it was another number. And I didn't think it was something from the beyond because like, if that was the case, then how is it that 11's able to use that power to defeat them? That wouldn't make sense. But it's because she's never directly fighting him. But even then, she could use the power against him still. But you get my point. My point was that they were too close together to where I was like, this is just the dark side of 11. Because we had also had this mindset that maybe 11 had this evil side to her. Like when she killed all those people and she was very angry, you know. And like, whatever. How did we get past that? How did we calm her down? Where did these visions of her murdering all those children go? So it's like, that was cool writing. And then it being revealed that that wasn't the case. And it was just, you know, that he was the person that did all that. And like, he was the one that was evil. And that, you know, 11 didn't shut those memories out because of trauma that she had did it. She shut those memories out because she was the one that allowed that to happen. And that was still pretty cool. So 4 gates to bring the 4 horsemen. It's also season 4. Yeah, man. 08 showed her 11. Yeah, she did. So there's granted that she's superheroes and villains, but life is rarely so black. Dude, that speech from Brenner. Okay. Here we go. Brenner. It's S tier. You might not like it. You might not like it, but this is what S tier villainy looks like. Why? Because he gives that speech on, you know, there being the lightness and darkness inside of everyone, but, you know, choosing the path and all that talk and, you know, the way people fear her and the way he cares for them. And, you know, he's always had this character that we hated him at first because we saw him as the evil scientist that would like poke and prod at like you know, these children, and we're like, what the fuck is this for? And like, you know, they connected with the ultraviolet and, you know, government conspiracy theories and all this bad stuff, and, you know, like, why are we messing with stuff at this level? And, you know, it's like he's like Professor Xavier. It's very weird. He's like Professor Xavier, but the one difference between him and Professor Xavier is that he refuses to let Magneto go and create the Brotherhood, right? Like, but that's what makes him evil, right? See, Professor X would have been like, you know what, Henry? Go ahead and be free and do your thing. Just know that we'll fight you, right? But Brenner's like, he realizes that, no, this shit's too critical. We can't have 2 factions of mutants. We all have to we just have to learn to be better people, but also have our powers. So like, he really wanted to, because if you think about it, right, he's giving them power, he's empowering them, he's making them stronger, yet he somehow is still keeping this amount of good grace with them to where no one ever lashes out or attacks him. How? Like, the Stockholm is so amazing. Like, they have to be thankful to him for unlocking their powers, right? Like, but they hate their living conditions, and that's something that, you know, why is that? But maybe these are the optimal conditions. I mean, how can we know? No one else is grinding these things out in other situations, right? The man's got the whole training facility. Yeah, to have the power, you have to control the power, and that's what was really cool. You know, he definitely was like about the control. It's like, yeah, she's got the power, but it's more like we have to learn to control it, right? So like, Brenner, so sick. And then, you know, every mistake he made, he tried to cover up for it. He didn't reach out to other people. He didn't try to get other things to try to cover for him. He was just like, hey, we're gonna try to fix it in home, you know? So like, that's what was cool. Like, that was really cool. And then of course, you know, once they opened up the gate, the other scientists and other people involved were more interested, and now he's got 2 projects to work on, so he's stretched thin. But yeah, no, Brenner's a goat. And then in his final moments, dealing with 11, dealing with the government, the whole battle there, and putting the collar on 11 after knocking her out. He really did just want the best for her, right? But obviously it didn't look that way, because like, bro, what are you doing knocking her out? He's like, I'm gonna do something that's gonna help make her stronger, right? It's like every time he's helping make her stronger, that's just more that she can do back against him. So why does he keep doing it? Because he wants her to be the strongest she can be, even if that means that she hates him to the core, even if that means that like he's got no one on his side. He'll know that he helped make 11 and the other students, had they lived, become the best version of themselves that they could possibly be. So it looks, it's pretty ugly, but I mean, they're unique individuals from the get-go, so you can't really handle them like normal people, because they're just not normal. That's hard to say, but Brenner's willing to be the person to make that sacrifice. And he alone takes on that responsibility by solely naming himself Papa. He puts all the responsibility on himself, and all the other orderlies are just orderlies. They don't really take any of that blame. He puts it all on himself. That's huge. So whenever they're upset, they can only blame him. And whenever they're happy, they can only thank him. Brenner is S tier. That's Throtus Gotus. Now, okay, remember the list, right? Remember the list. Remember the characters. Alright? Alright, we're going to handle these other characters here. We're going to handle these characters that we're missing. Oh, okay, good. These are the characters I wanted to see. These are the characters I wanted to see right here. Nah, fuck her, fuck him. This teacher. Okay, cool. So, this is it. Back here. I guess I can do this really quick, right? We're just gonna do the ones we're missing, right? Yeah, just the ones we're missing. We're not gonna do them all again. And then we'll have the 2 lists side by side. We're almost done. Any other characters I've mentioned you guys don't see that you think we need to include, you let me know. But like, oh man, I can't wait to talk about Billy with y'all. I hope Posh Nerd and Strawberry Milk are both here by the time I get to Billy. Y'all kind of low key making me want to rush there, but nah, we need to have a discussion about that character. I'd say the Doctor. Dr. Oz. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so this doctor? This guy right here? Oh, the other doctor. Oh, the other doctor. He's not here. So we'll say that this is the other Dr. Owens. He's a Brody. He was cool. He was nice. Like, but he didn't... In fact, he's above Antonov. He was cool and he was nice, but like, he didn't like... He gave 11 choices, but he was just like... it was good cop, bad cop, and he was just 100% good cop. That's it. No more backstory, no more his involvement with the program back in the old day. Like, we didn't get to see his involvement with the old program even. So, like, they kind of let that flop. Anyways. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I know that this is the guy that threw the shake at 11, but we're just using it as the other guy because for some reason this is season 4. He's not here. I don't understand. Whatever. So this is that other doctor. Yeah. Anyways. So who is this? Do y'all remember who this is? I don't remember who that is. That's not the band chick that Robin was into. It's 11? Oh shit. It is. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, the hair. Okay, word. The hair and the smile are getting me. Okay, this is trash character. So trash. Fat Hop. Who's this? This is Billy's dad, right? This is Billy's dad? Oh. Lyle. Lyle is fraudulent. Enough said. This character is Eat a Dick. They didn't do much with him. I mean, they had the one scene where he's like, I can't go back to the Russians, and he wanted some Slurpees. He was comedic relief at best. He gave Murray a reason to shine, and that was really it. Like, the character didn't do anything. Don't even know why that man got a slot, but whatever. Okay. This professor, this guy's A1 day one. Why? Because he does this thing that, like, is really cool that science teachers do, where they listen to the children and then, like, they don't, like, tell the children they're wrong. They just scientifically explain to the children how what they're saying could or could not be possible. You know what I mean? He keeps the children's imagination intact, and he doesn't try to disprove it with science. Instead, he tries to, like, he just loves science. Yeah, he's a sick teacher. He's like, oh, well, if you wanted to do that, it's like, you would need something like this, you know, like, but no, blah, blah, blah. So, like, it just, the way that he's like, he's not really into disproving the kids. Rather, he wants them to figure out the truth themselves by them utilizing science. And he's willing to teach them that. And that's really cool. Yeah. Wow. Dude's kind of just for being Bill Nye. Yeah, he's legit Bill Nye. He's legit Bill Nye. A1? A1? I mean, this is like, these are like side by side. These are side by side. Don't let one being in front of the other fool you. They're side by side. Bob. Superhero. Bob Newby. You know why he's a superhero? Because he's swooping in to be a father to these kids. And he's tackling the tremendous task of trying to be with someone like Joyce Byers. You know, like that's dangerous water to want to get involved with. But, you know, he cared. And it wasn't because he had some malicious intent or there was some gains he was going to get out of it. You know, he also just wanted a companion. And, you know, he sought that. And it's really cool. It's really cool how Downey was with her and just the kids and all the shenanigans. He tried really hard. Yeah. He also was the nerd getting a hot one. Yeah, he was also that nerd, right? He was that nerd that was smooth talking. He gave us hope. Now, some people say, well, oh, okay, he's a nerd that's coming in, being a stepstool father, whatever. But nah, he's the father that stepped up, you know? And he was proud to do so. And he made friends with her and the kids. Like, he was well received. And then he even helped fight. He put himself on the line. Shouts out to Bob Newby. Bob Newby is almost goated with the sauce, but again, one season. It's hard to give anyone a GOAT tier with a season like that with just one. I almost want to put her in could improve, but I don't know. I feel like in a weird way Barb kind of is present in 2, right? And then we get the Barb cameo in 4. I kind of want to put her in C though. Yeah, Hopper Joyce feels weird. Yeah. Like Bob is so natural, but because Bob is all into the whole helping her out with the kid, like dealing with the possessed kid, and just like, yeah, Bob is sick for that. You know what? Bob is honorary GOAT. Fuck it, man. You can't just come in and be a stepfather and deal with paranormal activity and still be 10 toes down. That's crazy. Anyways, Barbara will make C tier. She could have been higher tier in season 4 if, when they had Nancy tripping, if they had Barb be alive again and like talk to her and talk about what she had did wrong. But like that didn't really happen. They just kind of had a corpse sitting there, you know. But Barb was a good friend. She was a real one. You know, unceremoniously died after getting shafted at the party. You know, Barb was cool. Barb kind of holding my girl Nancy back. She was holding her back. Oh my god. Well, hey, you know, I think that it's more so that I think maybe holding her back, but at the same time, I think that Nancy learned a lot from Barb's death. And I think that was the only reason she wound up with Jonathan. Was she learned that it's important to look at what you do have and what's important in relationships. You know, like focus on what's important. You know? Number 8. Man, this character is almost eat a dick tier. It should be could improve because it's called could improve, but this is C and D. This character is almost eat a dick tier. Nancy, this isn't you. Yeah. Rest in peace to Barb. You know what? This is D tier. Yeah, like, okay, so like, but that's the thing, we didn't get to do anything with it. Like, we had this whole, okay, there's this person who escaped, they're into this like gothic and like very like metro wave type of living with these other misfits, and I really thought we were gonna get the Misfits arc. I don't know if you've ever watched the UK version of Misfits. I really thought that that's where we were headed that season, but that's not what we got. We just had a couple heists, if you will, and then it ended. And no further reach out, no further contact, no nothing. You know, just being an assassin. And like the fact that she's an assassin doesn't even come up in other places. It's not even like discussed in other parts like of the news. They literally just let it die. They need to bring this character back for season 5. Stranger Things could become one of the best series on television if they bring this character back and they give us something. If they can re-add value to season 2, the series is complete. But like, and I would hope they do that because now we're facing the largest battle we've had to fight, right? So like, hopefully we don't do it all alone. But like, man, like, they really did nothing. They did nothing. If anything, her plotline actually makes a plot hole. Yeah, this character is eat a dick tier. Eat a fucking dick tier. Also, as far as characters go, this is, we'll put Bob Newby in, we'll put him in Noble Knight, and we'll put the scientist in, what's it called? They call it a calculator. That's a term in Final Fantasy Tactics. But in D&D, just another type of wizard. Another type of alchemist. This will be the alchemist. Let's see. I think we got everyone else here pegged out. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Vecna, black wizard. And then the Brenner. Brenner's separated from D&D. He's just not even in it. Murray is a monk. And yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. So then we're now down to it. The last one. The one that y'all have been waiting for. Nigga today. Alright, so let's see. She won't improve whatsoever. She needs to be integral. Her timeline is 11 left before her, and she was stuck there, but later showed that everyone died and 11 was the last to leave. Yeah, so it's like, it's such a plot hole. Okay, look. Where is she? Where is Strawberry Milk? Ping Strawberry Milk. If she's not here, that's fine. Whatever. We'll carry on. But I saw those comments. You're not just going to talk shit on my boy Billy and then not stand on it. Yeah. I'm always down to see melanated folks winning. So I would really hope that they, did more with this character. I was hoping it was going to come back like some Gandalf on the hill type shit. Where she came back to save the day. But ain't no shit like that happened. So. Okay. So, Billy. Oh, she's not here. Is it? One second. Let me see this. All right. So, anyways, Billy is, despite everyone's popular belief, Billy is S tier. Billy is above Bob Newby. Now, here's why Billy is above Bob Newby. This character comes in, is immediately putting Steve Harrington to shame in a season that was shitty because of good old number 8 and that art. In a season that was trash, they gave us this character. Steve Harrington was no longer the bully. It turns out that there's more fish in the pond, right? There's other people out there. And Billy had what Steve Harrington had in spades. Why? Because Billy also had the edge to him. He had a hard life. He wasn't from this prissy, pampered life that Steve was from. And it's funny because you even get to see Steve subject himself to that because he is taking L's and he's like, yeah, my old man wants me to, learn how to live life. And that's good. See, Billy already did that. Billy already had to start living life early. Let me explain to you something about Billy's interests. You see some people who are into Billy just because, he's into MILFs. He's into the Dommy Mommies. I mean, sure, that's whatever. I mean, I'm not so much into what people are into. What people are into doesn't interest me. Again, it's why they're into it. Because I have some interesting taste of my own. And it's not what they're into, it's why are they into it. So I resonated with Billy instantly, and I was like, you know what I see when I see Billy? I see a guy, and I said this to in season 3, and that was after seeing him show up. I'd obviously seen all season 2. When he showed up in season 3, I said, you know what I see with Billy, man? I hear people talk a lot of shit about him, but the reality is that Billy is just a young kid who probably didn't have a good home at life, and probably definitely didn't have a good relationship with his mother, because that doesn't get talked about at all. So that's probably where the biggest strain is. And just living that hard, harshful life, he's kind of just does for himself a lot. And when you do for yourself for so much, it becomes this thing where it's exhausting, and you become really jaded and you hate the world. And the thing that brings you comfort is having that figure that reminds you of your mother back in your life. So I think that's why he's into these MILFs. Not because he just has this weird fetish for older women, but because in his very tortured and pained soul, that is the one place he finds real comfort. And regarding how he treats Max, he bullies the hell out of Max because, obviously, not just because they're step brother and sister, but because he comes from a hard life. He knows that she's a part of the family now, and he wants her to understand that he's being hard on her because it's only going to get harder. Because either A, Billy's going to move on, or something's going to happen to him. Billy knows that. It's just with the whole existence. So, Max has to be a hardened person because, again, she has even less. She has no mother or father. So that's why he's even harder on her. Because Max needs to be tougher than Billy. Max, and of course a lot of people watching don't realize this, but that's why he's like that. And the only reason that he acts that way is, well, why doesn't he act more this way? Because you can only do what you know, and the only thing that Billy knows is the harsh realities and situations that he's dealt with and what his father has given him. So that's the only way he knows how to act. Yeah, like, oh man. Dude. Well, yeah, no, like, I'm talking about in season 2. In season 3, they show that. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying in season 2, they don't give you that. But like, yeah, then you have this character that's doing this stuff, and, he's just bullying people, and he's taking what he wants. Because at home, he's nobody. At home, his dad makes him just that scared young boy again, tail between the legs. But it's because of that he's able to be the top of, quote unquote, the alpha at school. Now, is that what's important? Being the alpha? No, not really. But again, it's why does he act this way? The reality is that he acts that way because he's actually not an alpha type of personality. He's actually very weak. It's all a front. And it's a front he puts up for the benefit of who? That's the question. The reality is that it's a benefit to the more people that are around him because they have to become harder to deal with him. And ultimately, it's sad that he becomes infected with the thing. But when he becomes infected with the thing, you're like, oh man, why did the evil guy get stronger? He wasn't really evil. Yeah, he fucked with people. He fucked people up, but like, none of that was ever going to lead to death or them losing their soul and stuff. There's another thing that the Joker had said, like, in their final moments, you see who people truly are. And 11 got to prove to us who Billy was in his final moments. In his final moments, she reminded him of who he was. And that was stronger than the force of the Mind Flayer. That's a huge thing. That's huge. And, Max got to see that was him again. She finally got to see that it was Billy again. And that he was willing to sacrifice himself for them. That's crazy. Didn't catch that? Didn't catch what? But yeah, no, like you're talking about the scene where his dad would like fuck with him. Yeah. So I just thought that that was cool, like, because you got this character that just, and then you look at like the job he gets. He gets a job as a lifeguard. What's his job as a lifeguard? To be responsible for all these people here at the pool, and to like, look after them and care for them and save them if needed, right? It's like, but he's gonna do it in his way, and he's gonna have some fun with it too. But he's not gonna let people die. He would have got fired, right? So I don't know. The guy was definitely abrasive, but one thing I would say is whenever you run into people that are abrasive that way, like, I would say you should be a little bit thankful for them, because they offer you that friction you need in your life to remind you that it could be people like this out there, if not worse. He's a harsh reminder that there is a worse Billy out there. There is a Victor Creel. Oh, sorry, not Victor Creel. There is a Vecna, and there's obviously Vecna in his demonic form, but no, like, there's a number one. There are people like that. Number two would have been way worse than Billy if number two hadn't been in there. Like, they just bullied people because they had the power to do it. So that's my thoughts on Billy. He's just a poor young boy who's going through a lot of pain and is expressing himself the best way he knows how. And unfortunately, that comes off in a very bad way. And then regarding the breaking up with the families and whatnot and dealing with that, dealing with the Miss Walker. Who knows how many of the other MILFs he was also trying to talk to. I think Billy's one of those people where he probably just liked he probably liked the chase more than he did actually the catch. But we'll never know because he died. So, anyways, here are the tier lists, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take our screen cap. Someone get a screen cap of this. Oh, wait. Get a screen cap of this. Let me know when you've got the screen cap. Yeah, this is good. That's the tier list. That's it, boys. This is all we need to know. Shouts out to Erica. Shouts out to Random Russian Soldier number 897. Yeah, it's good stuff. Oh yeah, I'm sending it to Darian. Darian must know. When we're all in the chat, yeah, I'll send it to him. I'll see what he has to say. Darian will. I'm curious what Darian will want to shift around. I have a feeling Darian will not like Billy. I have a feeling Darian will not agree with Brenner. I have a feeling Darian will maybe not even agree with this guy being in Brody tier. We can explain what that is to Darian. We'll have to explain that. But yeah, that's it. So good list. I'm very okay with it. You're okay with it? Yeah, man. I think I do a good job. I got a good breakdown, you know. Rest in peace. I'm not gonna say names, but like, man, like, I really think about the fact that I took a creative writing class, and that I realized that I took a class for that, and there are some people that have not studied creative writing, so like they just don't see certain things. I don't know. It is what it is, but I think nothing against the viewers here. There's a specific individual I'm talking about. Might know who I mean, but there is no shame in not having the vision. I think if anyone comes up with anything different than my tier list, that's completely fine. But I challenge you to stand on it. And I challenge you to look at all the show's themes and tell me you're honest with yourself. But, thoroughly convinced? Yeah, dude. Like, I'm hoping that Steve Harrington just needs to do one thing. Steve Harrington is so close to being S tier. Like, again, don't let the gap between Vecna and Eddie fool you. A lot of these dudes are so close to being S tier. Like, Lucas almost became S tier just by punching Homeboy. Man, Lucas is almost S tier. Like, in fact, fuck, he should be, but we'll let it rock. Because Lucas be making mistakes. Lucas folded. He went against the squad. You don't fold, baby. He folded. You can't fold like that. Granted, but that's the thing. He's good at making up for his mistakes, so it's A. But if he just made fewer mistakes, man would be S tier. Free. But he be making too many mistakes. Shit, that was fun. I hope y'all... That was really good. Yeah, that was fun. Tier lists are great. I hope that, we do more of this later. I'm about to jump in the Discord to see if people want a game or anything. I didn't get to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I wanted. I was playing Orange 2, but had to definitely hear all this live. Oh, okay. Are you still playing OW2, or should I hop on Gundam? Or should I just get to sorting my cardboard? I could do either, man. Oh, okay. Okay. Think it's worth an upload? Okay. Yeah. Probably heading to bed. Long we can hear you. Hey, that's understandable. Alright, man. I will end the stream here and save this VOD. We'll do this right here.